Hey guys, what's up? It's Paige. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we are going to get started with a pick a card today, all about what you need to do in order to align with your manifestation. So I think that Virgo season, when I am filming this, is the perfect time for us to be looking into this kind of energy, because this is the time of harvest. You know, this is kind of the final tweak that we need to make. So I figured what better time to make a video for this. So if you need to figure out how to pick a card, I have a video on that linked above and below. Otherwise, get yourself into a receptive mode, take a few deep belly breaths, and then choose your pile. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. Timestamps are provided down below. Alrighty, group 1, we will get started with your reading. So first, let's look at your oracle card for your overall energy. So, true love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. So this must be my romantic deck. Even if it is not, and you're just kind of looking for more of a soul connection in general with like friends, your soul tribe, really anything of that nature, you know, like this can be platonic or romantic, so I'll leave that open for your interpretation since this is a general reading. But you know, that is coming to you, and that is kind of what you're aligning with here. And as I always say, to manifest anything is to be matched to that energy. And if you are looking for true love, true companionship, the utmost best way to get that is to provide that, not only for yourself but for people you come in contact. You know, really genuinely giving yourself, and I don't know, having a sense of like rootedness in the fact that you're giving from a place of true love, you know, because that really helps you move forward, I think, in life in a really positive way. So this manifestation is meant for you. I can feel it. But let's talk a little bit more. So I do have a question card, power and questions here, to help us kind of figure out what you need to dive into and maybe ask yourself in order to align. So we have, what is the most courageous thing I've done? How did it make me feel? You know, that's interesting because I was just thinking about how in this card, it is very vibrant red. Like it's very fiery, almost like actually a burnt orange, I would say. So this kind of energy, along with the green that's in this card, and then the question of this card being about your courage, you know, this is really noticing your strength and noticing, you know, maybe where you've added strength and love into the mix. Like you integrated those two concepts. And I think our minds don't tend to think as ambivalent as they probably need to. So maybe this is kind of a contrast that you can see within yourself. You know, how courageous are you, and how much of that energy is allowing you to, you know, keep being courageous? Are you acknowledging it, I guess, is kind of what that boils down to. So that's really interesting though. But, you know, meditate on this question later on more specifically. But, you know, pairing with this energy, like I said, like really see how your love and your courage have collided together and have made you do some pretty good things. Because I think when you see how it made you feel, you're gonna see, you know, that you are a lot more worthy, because you're noticing that you've done things that make you worthy. So that's really, I really like that energy together. So along with the energies to focus on, we have Libra and second house. So Libra in second house, you know, the energies to focus on here, I would say, is your relationship to yourself and others, because the second house is your values, is your focus when it comes to like the material world, your possessions, your environment, tangible and whatnot. So I just feel like that paired with Libra and, you know, overall with the reading, to align with your truest, you know, destiny, your manifestation, what you're really looking to achieve right now. I think the best way to do that is to start valuing yourself the same way you're valuing other people, because Libra does rule relationships and relating to people, so that makes a lot of sense with this true love message. But when you notice that, you know, you relate to other people in a way that doesn't degrade your own worth, that is courageous. That in itself really, you know, helps you kind of see the boundaries between you and other in a healthy way that allows for this true love to shine, because everybody is allowed to shine authentically. And I think we kind of get that confused when it comes to true love. That's kind of the shadow side of Libra, is there's kind of like a codependent energy, where people they tend to think that they have to be whatever the other person wants. You have to transform into it. And I feel like for you, you know, the most courageous thing you may have ever done and may ever do for yourself, and maybe what ultimately you need to continue to do in order to align with this manifestation, because consistency will be key for this, is stand in your power, stand in your ground, balance that duality, because Libra is the scales, you know, black and white, good and bad, ego and higher self. That contrast is very, very, very valuable to the Libra. And I feel like you're starting to learn that that is a very valuable quality to yourself. But when you align more in that awareness, I guess, of that being some strong suit that you have in a place that you come from a lot of the time, you know, that allows things to unfold the way they need to. So this is quite beautiful. Honestly, I feel like you guys have a lot of energy to give, and you may not have been giving that to yourself. So the more that you give that to yourself and recognize that you're worthy of that, and recognizing, you know, the strength that you have, rather than, I don't know, I feel like you might almost hold resentment for the love that you have given, and that has kind of stifled your ability to have true love. So I mean, there's a weird contrast here with energies that you've kind of are learning to integrate, and that is courageous. Really, like, keep it up. Honestly, it makes you feel good. I know that makes you feel good. And that is verified even more so with the Lovers right here, upright. We have the Sun in reverse. We have Justice upright. And then we have the Explorer of Candles. You guys have a strong urge to speak your piece. Like, have your piece by saying the things that you have been maybe holding back in this time. Because I feel like the Sun in reverse here shows that, you know, you haven't been letting your light shine ultimately in your relationships. And I think that if you look back at the times in your life that made you feel the most powerful and maybe the most aware of yourself and the most aware of your abilities and your just overall confidence, I feel like was really at its peak, was when you were sharing your truths and really acting out the justice that you felt in your heart that, you know, other people deserved and you deserved. And I feel like, you know, with these two energies here, the Lovers and Justice rules Libra, I should add here, these two are very relational energies, as you see. They hold a lot of higher knowledge about connection and how to relate to other people, and sometimes it always, you know, it won't always go with the grain. And I feel like that's something that you may have been worried about in the past, but, you know, again, connecting to this Courage card, you guys, that is truly what you have to embody more and more of to align with your manifestations. Like, the love that you're looking for is maybe something that you haven't gotten because you've been fearful that that's not what you deserve, and thus you're not allowing your light to shine. You're not allowing yourself to be this, you know, heavenly father figure, mother figure, you know, whatever kind of energy it is. It's your individuality, it's your masculine principle. And I just feel like for you to really embody more of your truth and more of your, like, you know, to have more of your desires ultimately, like those, I'm feeling luscious desires is what comes to mind. So you really are wanting something that's beautiful and abundant here. And if you don't, you know, give yourself that same kind of energy, if you don't try to radiate that same kind of energy, how is anybody going to know that that's your match? You know, in very logical terms, I'm feeling this, because it's like, genuinely, if you think about it, you know, if you come off as a very quiet, conservative person and you're actually like really chaotic and you have a lot of things to say and you want better for yourself and for other people and just the world in general, I feel like you have to, you know, act accordingly. And that's something Justice and Libra energy really, really benefits off of, because, you know, even any air sign energy, which is what I'm getting here with the Lovers, that's ruled by Gemini. So this is really the energy of having to like act in alignment in order to really learn the lesson, in order to really get that full understanding, the full perspective, because this is also energy of learning, like I said, and relating to other people. So when you guys really own that and acknowledge the fact that you are meant to push yourself a little further in relationships, you know, that's where you get this true love. You don't get true love from, like I said, not acting like yourself. And that's probably the most courageous thing that you can do. I know I told you to meditate on this question, but I guess I'm going to answer it for you. So I really feel like, guys, for you to embody what you want to get the manifestation you are looking for. You gotta shine. You gotta be the light. You have to be the person that you are truly within. And when you are, that's where things start to flow to you, you know, even if this is more of a physical thing, or, you know, it's not relationship based, because we do have second house here, and this does has to do more with like manifestations on the physical realm, more like possessions and resources and whatnot. But even here it says aesthetics, so the way that you are presenting yourself, the way that you are aligning, you know, your different qualities and showcasing them, that's kind of how I view aesthetics. That is really important to other people, and not only other people, but you specifically. And if you don't give that credit, you know, what are you standing for? What are you doing with your time that is helping you attract this true love? And I think that the more you push yourself and kind of see your own worthiness and your own value and how you can bring that to the table, you know, you're going to be met with your manifestation. It's going to take you off your feet here, because we have 3 major arcana, so you guys are, it's coming. I promise you it's coming. When you flip your little sun upside down, though, you know, that's where it happens for you. When you just become the light radiating out for the world to see, you know. So it's like your own mating call, basically, is what I'm getting. So I really like this message. We're going to keep him upright, because I feel like you guys are going to like be relieved to hear this message. You're like, yes ma'am, I'm standing in my power starting right now. So I absolutely love it. You guys rock. Thank you so much for watching this reading. If it resonated, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel for more messages. I have extra pick a cards on my Patreon account, so check that out if you want to dive deeper and support me along my journey as well. But otherwise, I will see you in a later video. Peace. Hello, group 2. We will get started with your reading about how to align with your manifestations. So, as always, we're going to start with the Oracle card. So, we have guiding children. You are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. So, I feel like this is more of a soul urge thing. I mean, it could be literal, you know, always take it as it resonates, but I'm also getting that this could be you trying to guide your inner child to something that fulfills it. And I feel like this time for you lately has really proven to be an exploratory time for you to kind of understand what your inner child wants. And maybe that's why this manifestation, I feel like, kind of took a little time, especially with it being such earthy energy. It's very characteristic of Earth, I would say, to be a little timely, I suppose, you know. Divine timing definitely is playing a part here. So I just think that for you, it will be important to focus more on just grounding yourself, focusing on your inner child, nurturing your inner child, really taking care of yourself and guiding yourself the best that you can with what you have. But I mean, that's obviously just this card. We have way more to dive into to see what your manifestations hold and how to align with them. So, what kind of advice on life would I give to my younger self? Oh my God, that is so funny to be paired with this guiding children card, because like, what did I just say? Your inner child. What is your inner child? It is your younger self. It is that forever child within you that, you know, has existed in the past and will always exist in the future. All of your, you know, past selves will always exist within you. And when you heal them and you listen to them and you know, respect them and respect what they went through, most importantly, is what I'm getting, that is where you start to really blossom and really manifest things, I see like. But aligning to your energy and aligning with, you know, your manifestation, the more that you can reflect on maybe the more loving advice and the more loving viewpoint and perspective on your inner child, your younger self, that is going to be very beneficial here. Obviously, between these two cards being very adolescent child energy base, I just feel like that is really showing up in your life to kind of teach you to, you know, maybe balance that out. I just actually have been reading a lot about the concept of the pure and the senex, I believe is what it's called. And it's the concept of you know, we all have this younger version of ourselves within us, this inner child, like I said. But the polarity of that, the opposite side of that, is like having an elder within us that is, you know, helping us, guiding us, and teaching us to grow. But if you don't balance that relationship within self, and you get too, you know, either fatherly, motherly, and you don't allow this like childlike part of you to evolve and to shine and to be respected for what it is, that can really hold you back from experiencing the fun, great things that you may want out of life. And I think that, you know, we have to take responsibility for that in ourselves. And I think that that's kind of the final step for you when it comes to manifesting maybe this more fun, playful life that you're looking for. So let's see what else we got for energies. We have third house perception and Jupiter. All right, yeah, what did I just say? Oh my God, I'm like surprising myself with this reading. Okay, so third house perception and Jupiter, Jupiter in the third house will give you the idea of I want fun all the time, you know. Depending on the sign, of course, it would be how that would vary, but Jupiter energy is super fun. It's playful, as you can see here, you know. There's a lucky benevolence to this energy, as well as just an expansiveness that allows us to really play with life and kind of see life as more fun and exciting. This is actually one of the main archetypes in astrology that relate to the pure. So I think that's really funny that I just mentioned that. But anyways, the third house, though, going back to what I was saying about being able to see life more fully, being able to experience life more fully, and, you know, with a little bit more twang to it. I feel like you've been really wanting to indulge in life, but I feel like you may have been holding yourself back from that and then wondering why you aren't experiencing such a fun life. And between keeping this more mature side of you and also having a more playful side of you is really something that you've been working on balancing. And the more that you integrate those two principles and kind of, like I said, give respect for the two sides of yourself. You know, obviously there's more than just the two, but those two specifically I'm feeling and I'm picking up are really starting to play out in your life right now. So it's important that you focus on what you can do to ultimately understand the kind of energies that you can bring into your life. And I think for you that is going to be being that kind of fun, loving energy, because who wouldn't want to be around that is also like that? You just start to attract those kind of experiences into your life. So let's dive in a little bit further. We have the 6 of Tomes in reverse, 8 of Tomes in reverse, Mystic of Candles upright, and 4 of Wands upright. Oh my goodness, you guys really, really need to put down that stern attitude, because let's just look at these upright real quick. So the 6 of Tomes here is very, you know, interested in learning, interested in growing their knowledge, expertise, and is interested in sharing that as well. You know, there's a give and take here. So with this in reverse, I'm feeling like there's almost like too much of a give and take. There's not balance in that aspect of yourself that is maybe a little bit more serious or maternal or paternal, you know, whichever one you more identify with. I just feel like this kind of energy has to be expanded past what you've allowed it in the past. And that is even more confirmed with the 8 of Tomes, as you see here. Very work-oriented, very refining energy. So both of these being upright, or upside down, excuse me, it just shows me that you got to release that at times. You have to perceive this younger spirit within you, and like I said, give it respect, give it a voice to speak, because I feel like, you know, if you've seen my video on subpersonalities, we all have these little characters within us that perceive the world a little bit differently, and when you don't allow them to express themselves, they unconsciously will present themselves, and those characteristics may not be something that you're very proud of, I guess. So I think that's something you may have struggled with in the past, maybe dealing with more of a, you know, childlike nature, and you didn't really have a grounded spirit, so now you're overly grounded and you are struggling to understand your spiritual side, or maybe that's what you're working to kind of grow into, you know, developing your spiritual qualities and really finding a better meaning to life, I feel like, because I think that's what your younger self really wanted. You know, advice to your younger self might end up being that, you know, it's okay to dream. It's okay to do the things that you want to do. And I think the more you confirm that to yourself, the more and quicker that your shit starts to align, I feel like. Sorry for my language. I don't know where that came from. But I feel like that's kind of the playfulness, is it's like, oops, sorry, like, I'm going to do what I want though. And that's exactly kind of, you know, the energy that I'm picking up, especially with right here. We have our two upright energies being wands energies. So candles here, this is fire energy, as you can see. So the mystic of candles is very much in her power, or his power, you know, like I said, this is very gender fluid, but I just find that with this energy, in order for you to really stand in your power, there has to be some sort of burden release. You have to kind of understand that things have to move on past their original state. And that's something that I find with like the wands or candles in this deck, but just fire elements in general, is that it really shows that it's okay to spice things up a little bit and to stir the pot a little bit in order for you to create something else. You know, it's not bad to create other things. It's not bad to spice your life up, is what I'm kind of getting out of this message. And maybe that's what you've been wanting. You know, you want the security at the same time that you have the fun, happy lifestyle, and you can have that. But you have to be the one to balance it. As I always say, you know, the universe will support our beliefs. I feel like the biggest takeaway from this is just knowing that you are capable of having it all. You can, you know, have your cake and eat it too. That's kind of like a Jupiter thing that I feel like people almost get jealous about. They almost like maybe put off weird energy towards you when you're succeeding in your life, so you have to tone yourself down when you know, are feeling free and feeling creative, or like the opposite, you know, because if this goes a different way and you're being not as grounded and you need to be more grounded, you know, that is the flip side of it. So those are the balances that you have to kind of take into consideration and work with throughout your life, and every day is going to be different. So that's kind of how you can choose to perceive things differently and kind of guide yourself along the way with, you know, that given perception for those moments, because ultimately, like I said, your perception is changeable. You can move past it, you can expand past it, and when you do that, you can kind of have a wisdom and a knowledge to firmly stand in that allows you to have a firm foundation for more, you know, creative endeavors, things to get spiced up in your life, and it not be completely turmoil that it happened. Because I feel like in the past, maybe your younger self was a little bit more chaotic, stirred the pot, and then, you know, all stability was lost. And that was because you weren't coming from a very stable place to begin with. But now that you've already gained your stability back throughout this time, you've gained that perspective of, you know, how to create stability and how to work with it. You can move past that energy and start fresh. Start with this energy of, you know, conquering your own path and doing the things that make you feel fulfilled and wanting to, you know more and not be tied down to any restrictions, because Jupiter is like Zeus. It does not want to be tied down. It wants to go and mate with all the little earthlings to just, you know, just because they want to. And I think that's something you had to understand through, you know, learning and perceiving it yourself. And, you know, that's total third house energy here, but third house to Jupiter, which actually is Sagittarius, which would be opposite of the third house. So that kind of energy tells you that, hey, you can move on and you can allow yourself to use that wisdom and this newfound perception for the whole spectrum as a foundation, and that allows you to expand. That allows this chaos to unfold in ways that, you know, don't ruin anything and actually really, really let you shine in the light that you deserve to shine in. So group 1, 2, what group is this? 2, group 2. Hello, sorry. I hope this message resonated for you guys. If it did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, of course, if you want more intuitively channeled messages. I do have extra pick a cards and teach metaphysics on my Patreon account. Link down below, so check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, I will see you in a later video. Bye for now. Hello, group 3. We will get started with your reading about how you can align with your manifestations. Ooh, hello. So let's get started with your oracle card first and foremost. You have receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. I knew somebody was going to get this message, honestly, because when I was shuffling the cards, I had a very strong message that whatever you need to do to get your manifestation, I knew for one of my groups, I'd know from the card, would be to getting yourself into a receptive mode. And that means kind of being a little lazy, not lazy, but like passive. And I think I say lazy because I feel like you might receive it as lazy, but receptivity also is very open, nurturing, loving, and lazy, is maybe like a shadow side of it. But at the flip side, sometimes when you're lazy and just kind of enjoying your own relaxation and really just giving yourself your own time to explore whatever you got going on, you can then start to receive more manifestations, your blessings, etc. Let's dive deeper though, because this is just one card in. So your question to kind of ask yourself, meditate deeper on, is who am I when I'm alone? Yeah, receptivity and who am I when I'm alone. I feel like with this energy, it kind of shows that there's a purpose that you have that I feel like you are really called to follow. I feel like you may almost pursue the purpose with a lot more will and strength than maybe a lot of other people that you know. And I think that almost has defined you in a way. Like the way that you have moved through your life and the way that you have interacted in a social group. I'm kind of giving like Capricorn energy, 10th house energy is like kind of where I'm coming from with this, if you're familiar with astrology, which is, the public eye and your career and reputation and structure, it's a very public energy, and that energy has to be rooted in this Cancer energy, this 4th house energy, which is more about your feelings, yourself, your home, and who you are when you're alone, mainly. And I feel like for you to really get the kind of success and stability that you're looking for outwardly in the world, it's caused you to kind of have to go within. And I feel like you might be a little confused at that. You may feel like you've been regressing because of how much you've had to kind of pull back from the more masculine world that we live in that, is more go, and trying to push yourself to succeed. But in reality, you keep being pulled to look into yourself and kind of see what state you're in, because that is where you can receive your blessings, is when you're in a receptive state, when you're in a nurturing state, and when your public image, your legacy, your career is actually rooted in something, greater than that image. And I feel like that's kind of where this question is of who am I when I'm alone. So let's get into this a little bit more with what energies you're dealing with. So we have Taurus energy and Queen Cux. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yes. So with these two energies, I would say this energy is adjustment energy to me. So Taurus is actually very driven. It's very focused. It's kind of what I was saying. Now, this is a feminine energy, however. So while it is a female principle, sometimes our female principles can be shallow. And like I've said in a past video, rooted more in a masculine sense. You head towards your desires full throttle, with completely headstrong, doing the things that you want to do. And that really works for people. It really works for you. That's not the issue here, though. The issue is adjusting this energy to when you're alone and when you're private and how you're feeling within, because I feel like issue, a shadow side of Taurus is being superficial, is being shallow. It's not seeing the benefits of change so much as it is just wanting to uphold its current reality, its current situation. And I feel like that has kind of worked against you recently. If you listen to my actual last pick a card, you may have gotten the pile where I was talking about that, where it's all about making sure that you're not over mothering and over kind of structuring your life, and you're not, working so hard to be this sturdy, stable figure when, you have to be rooted in something to be that. And that comes from a more watery sense, a more intuitive, a more emotional sense. It's this receptive energy, which is, as you can see here, feminine, and it's very watery, especially here with these little waterfalls. I just feel like, it's important for you to be rooted in something emotionally fulfilling to you, emotionally gratifying to you. And that's kind of something about Taurus that I find this energy being really good at, is being able to indulge in pleasures and understand luxury and understand comfortability. And, that's kind of what you're working towards. You want to be able to understand how you can balance both, how you can have both. And the thing is in order for you to have both, you have to kind of adjust a little bit. You have to allow yourself to see the softer side of yourself, to get to know it, and for you to see the kind of comfortabilities and luxuries that you think that you should have in your life, because that's when you can actually have them. But if you don't really focus on that part and you're just kind of putting stuff out there all the time, you know, when is the time for you to receive? Let's dive into this a little bit more. I will say I did get a couple more cards in the other pile for your tarot, but we have Creator of Vials. Let me fix the screen here, make it a little brighter. All right, Awakening in reverse, Nine of Bells, Ace of Bells, and Two of Candles in reverse. So right away with the Creator of Vials and the Awakening, I'm just getting the message that you do not walk this path alone. And I feel like maybe that kind of goes back to this where it says, who am I when I'm alone? You know, you are always working with other people. You're always trying to see how you connect with other people. And I feel like sometimes you get too caught up in the idea that the other people create a wholeness within you. And I think that's something you may be waking up to and allowing yourself to understand going forward, is that you don't have to be with other people in order to be with the presence of other people, with their energies, with their influence, with their structures and whatnot. And that's kind of maybe what you're dealing with, like I was saying, you needing to go into that more nurturing, receptive, watery, emotional side of yourself. And I'm feeling like if you're having a hard time actually getting to that level and you're staying too structured and you're staying too fixated on maybe the more practical things, that kind of can make you worry about things that I don't think you need to be worried about. Because like I said, you do not walk this path alone. You are divinely guided. So even when you are alone, you have the support you need. And I think the more that you kind of detach from the reality that you've currently been pursuing that has so many external influences, you're able to start receiving the support on a spiritual level as well as, you know, on a physical level. You know, they all connect. I think that's kind of the interesting axis of Taurus and Scorpio. The opposite of Taurus is, you know, physical things, it's assets and more of your value system, whereas Scorpio is the opposite, and that is more your spiritual value, and that's inherited from others and your interactions with others and your connections with others. So I'm just feeling here like you may be holding yourself too tightly to those structures that other people want you to be to, and that needs to be kind of adjusted, you know, not completely forgotten, because I feel like, you know, you have a very helpful influence around you, and that really does help you. Like I said, you have a very go-getter attitude that I think really benefits you, but you have more insights to get. And right here, this Ace of Bells is a message from the heavens. It's a gift from God. It's your intuition speaking to you, telling you which way to go. And I feel like, you know, with Awakening being in reverse, I just feel like for you, it's been kind of difficult to know where to go, for you to understand your path and to understand why you weren't receiving the things you wanted to receive. But ultimately, you know, you have to separate a little bit. You have to allow yourself to kind of get into that space that can have the space for it, I guess. So the Two of Candles here is, again, confirming this, because right here I just see that they're communicating with each other, and I can't help but think and acknowledge that he's using crutches. And so with this in reverse, I feel like almost this is like the shadow side of, you know, like the symbol of a crutch being like, you know, you're using other people to kind of lead you and guide you along your path, when in reality, you know, you have a very strong sense of being. And I know that from this Creator of Vials card. Like, this is your truest energy here. And I feel like you're waking up to this. This is divine feminine energy here. And, you know, I just noticed this card has this little moon here. I've never even noticed that before. So this just goes to show that you are being divinely led. You have intuition that is very keen, very helpful. And when you allow yourself to get into that space that is, you know, ready to receive that information, which is when you're alone, and when you're acknowledging your connection to the universe in a deeper way, rather than what you just see on the physical realm, you can release this burden and start to understand your full potential and start to really manifest and just align with your manifestations in general, like consistently. This is something that obviously if you continue to do it, you'll continue to stay in alignment with the things that you want out of your life. So I feel like this kind of summarizes what you guys can do. So if this resonated for you, group 3, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave your comment down below, of course. If you want to do an extra reading, I have a Patreon. I have extra pick a cards and teach metaphysics, so check that out. Otherwise, I will see you guys in a later video. Peace.